My peoples, my peoples. Welcome to another episode, Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. Y'all know what we doing, man. Y'all know how we doing this. We talking boxing, y'all. Toy Mafia, side, age of 17. Wally Ama, bam, my peoples. What's the deal, y'all? Y'all know how we doing this. Y'all know how we doing this. First of all, before we get this show on the road, let me say happy Tuesday to everybody. If you're having breakfast at this time, enjoy your breakfast. If you just woke up, get dressed and get ready. We gotta go to work. We gotta get this. Age of 17. My peoples. It's official tissue. It is official. Anthony Joshua versus the problem child, Jake Paul. It's a reality. It's going down, y'all. It is a reality. Remember, a lot of people were saying that this fight wasn't going down, that they was doing it for the cloud, that Jake Paul wasn't really gonna fight AJ. You guys remember all that stuff? Now what? It looks like the fight is going down. So we will be able to make predictions, and it's not hypothetical. If they fight, they're gonna fight, my peoples. I'm excited. I'm excited about it. It's like I've been saying, we've been asking Jake Paul for a real fight. We've been asking him for, to fight a real fighter, to fight somebody who's, not washed up, or somebody who's actually a boxer. We're gonna get that. Here's what I find interesting about Jake Paul and AJ. This fight is about to happen, and there's people who are giving Jake Paul a chance. So, a lot of doubters, a lot of people thought it wasn't going to happen, said it wasn't going to happen, but it is. So, the magic question really becomes, can Jake Paul pull this thing off? I know there's going to be a lot of conspiracies, people saying that AJ is going to take a dive, and all of this other stuff. People making stuff in their head. I don't understand why people, they make something up in their head and they paint it as that's going to be reality. I'm a psychic. I know what's going down in these negotiations and how this is going to happen. I'm going to tell you what. They announced it. It's a real fight. It's a 8-rounder, if I'm not mistaken. They'll be wearing 10-ounce gloves. We got a fight on our hands. We got a fight on our hands, my peoples. So, taking that into consideration, I'll reiterate what I said yesterday. Jake Paul's going to sleep, but I'm still giving him his flowers. Still giving him his flowers. Because he's stepping in there against a 2-time champion, against a fighter with amateur pedigree and Olympic gold medalist. We've been asking him to do that. And in fact, fighting Anthony Joshua exceeds our expectations. I just wanted him to fight somebody around his age group and experience. If he fought somebody who's 27 years old and has 10 fights, a record of 10-2, I'll be happy with that. But Anthony Joshua, Most people didn't even believe that fight was gonna be real. Most people didn't even. How many people was here on this show talking about, nah, that fight is not happening. They only doing it for clout. I know folks who say that are gonna keep running with the conspiracies. Oh, but it's gonna be staged now, because you have to keep believing the same narrative that you wanted to go with. But this fight is happening, and it's gonna be for real. Ar, assalamu alaikum. How are you? Salute, my brother. Bam! Blessings and greetings. I can get what I want, but Jake Paul is fighting AJ. It's crazy, man, and effed up. Why is this fight happening in the first place? Respect. Um, I think this fight is happening simply because there's an opportunity to make a lot of money. I think that's the easiest answer. But I gotta say this: when it was Tank Davis, I saw a lot of people celebrating it because they said, well, Tank is going to get a bag, and we would all do the same thing too. Remember that? So it's the same thing. Well, I think that people then should be celebrating Anthony Joshua, like, well, he's going to get a bag, and we would all do the same thing too. So I see that there's a different energy with Anthony Joshua pursuing the bag, as you know, when compared to the type of energy Tank was receiving. The good old we would all do the same thing too. Joe Jackson, salute. So, but I will say, Jake Paul is someone who his whole career, boxing career, has been heavily criticized by the fact that he's fighting, non-boxers, MMA guys that are washed, boxers that are washed. He's not really fighting anyone who we consider reasonable competition for his age and size. And when he did, that was Tommy Fury, he lost the fight. So we've been criticizing him because he's just not fighting the people that we want him to fight. And to me, he doesn't have to fight a world champion. I just wanted to see him fight somebody that, is close to his age, close to his size. That's it. And a record similar to his. Find an opponent who has a record 10-2, 25, 26 years old. That's a good opponent for you. We would not, nobody would have expected that Jake Paul is going to fight Anthony Joshua in a real fight. That's why I say, even if you go to sleep early, I'm still giving Jake Paul his flowers. Gotta give it to him. Joe Jackson, I didn't like the Tank matchup. I like this. Someone in your weight class. Question: what if Jay knocked AJ out cold in the first round? He knocks him out cold in the first round. Anything can happen in boxing. The odds are extremely against it. What I think, how Jake Paul can knock Anthony Joshua out? How I see that, highly, highly unlikely. But how it can happen, there, let's say AJ's winning the first, the second, the third. AJ's winning every round, putting hands on him. But then let's say in the seventh, one round before the last, AJ slips and get caught with a monster shot. A haymaker. Boom! And get slapped. That could happen in heavyweight boxing. But Jake Paul is not going to be out there winning rounds. Jake Paul is not going to be out there outboxing AJ. Getting cooked. Cooked. And I'm telling people, those who say, nah, because, AJ, he's probably going to take a dive. And AJ, I'm trying to tell people, you know what's going to be AJ's approach to this? This guy's disrespecting me. This YouTuber, this guy think that he can beat me, world champion. I'm going to have to show him a lesson. I'm going to have to show him what real boxing is. So to me, that's the type of approach that we're going to see from AJ. My take. Joe Jacket, that would be crazy. Listen, the odds are extremely against it. I don't see it happen. AR, what is Jake Paul's knockout of AJ? His first punch will be crazy. I mean, those are what ifs that they just not gonna play out that way, bro. They not gonna play out that way. I'm telling you. Jake Paul getting beat up. Jake Paul getting beat up. Joe Jacket, I want to see Jake Paul get his ass beat. A lot of people want to. That's why this thing is gonna be crazy. The numbers are gonna be insane for this fight. People want to see Jake Paul get knocked out. He's built that character. Non-boxing fans want to see him get knocked out. AR, what if Jake Paul beat AJ, Usyk, Itama, Fury? No, now you're going too far. Come on now. Now you're going too far. Now you're playing games, bro. You know, let's see what happens in this next fight. You're going a little bit too far now. Because if he goes to sleep, you're not going to name any of those people. So, but I will say, salute to Jake Paul for stepping in there with Anthony Joshua. That's crazy. That is insane, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Jacket, he would be the GOAT. He's not going to be. I know you guys want to make this assumption. What if he did this? And what if he did that? And what if it... He's not going to. I'm telling you, he won't. You could take that to the bank to get some pounds. Anthony Joshua is going to put the beating on him. The beating of a lifetime. Remember I told you that. The beating of a lifetime. That's how this is going to play out. You have the two-time heavyweight champion of the world being challenged by Jake Paul. And Jake Paul disrespected him before. Trust me, AJ took mental notes of that. When Jake Paul was like, oh, he done, he's cooked, he's washed, I'll beat him up. You know, I don't know exactly, I can't remember exactly the words that he used, but he suggested that he could beat AJ. Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out. Joe Jacket. So I bet my house on AJ. If you're a betting man and you have been willing to bet your house before, bet your house on AJ. Do that. AR, what Jake Paul has become, a bigger athlete than Jordan, not a bigger athlete. That's not true. You see, you could say a bigger star. He's not a bigger star than Jordan. I don't know why you're saying that, AR. That's crazy. Than Jordan, he's not a bigger star than any of those people. Like, what are you talking about? He's not a bigger star than any of those people that you mentioned. Jay Williams, you could say he's a bigger social media presence than some of them. Like, you compare him to Pele, who, oh man, nah, AR, my bad. I don't have to say my bad, I'm wilding out, but AR, take a 24-hour break. I don't know what you're talking about. You need a 24-hour break, AR. Like, that was a really dumb thing to say. Jason Williams, top of the morning, good people. Joe Jacket, AJ showed Francis Ngannou that boxing is different. Of course. He showed him. And I have to point out that Ngannou is a big, strong dude. But he didn't have the boxing skills to go at it with AJ. He just didn't have it. I will say, boxing skills-wise, Jake Paul is ahead of Francis. Jake Paul is a better boxer than Francis Ngannou. He's not as big, not as strong, but skills-wise, come on now. Jason Williams, I'm not a fan of AJ, but he's still a world-class heavyweight fighter. Come on now, we can't deny the facts. Wally Ahmad, hey Jay, haven't talked to you since last week, and I just wanted to know what you thought about the Eubank versus Benn. I mean, it played out the way I envisioned it. I thought it would be maybe closer, but I envisioned this. I don't know if you remember my prediction, But it was that Conor Benn would pull it off this time around. That was my prediction. And I'm going to tell you why. That was my prediction because if you remember the first fight, Conor Benn showed up to the weigh-in at 156. He couldn't even get close. 4 pounds below the 160 limit. Couldn't even make it up there. This time around, he weighed 159 point something. That means that he was clearly acclimated to the weight. Made weight. Not just he made weight. If you saw him physically, he looked bigger and stronger this time around. So right there we have a different set of circumstances. Where now you have a guy that's bigger and stronger, and he's gonna be faster, of course, because now he's acclimated. That's the first thing. I actually waited for the weigh-in, my brother. After the weigh-in, that's when I made my prediction. Because if you think the first fight, it's not like Conor Benn got washed. He sent Chris Eubank Jr. for like 2-3 days to the hospital after that first fight. Landed some huge bombs on him. So I said, you know what? Now he's actually acclimated to the weight, a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. Now they're going to adapt to what Chris Eubank Jr. was doing in the first fight. And they did a great job. If you think about it, the head movement, the jab, the little step back, all of those little things we saw in this, and the constant pressure. There was 12 rounds of action in this second fight. Conor Benn never backed away. Never gave Chris Eubank Jr. the lead to be the one dictating the pace. It was him for 12 rounds. So he showed up in exceptional shape, was able to maintain that pace, and that's all she wrote. The better fighter won. I'm not a person to start automatically discrediting the other guy or oh, you know, he's not the same, or because that's always going to happen. If you remember when Crawford beat Errol, the same people that said Errol was going to knock him out now pivoted into, well, Errol's not the same anymore. Sean Porter wasn't the same. Amir Khan wasn't the same. Kell Brook wasn't the same. Canelo's not the same. So that's always going to happen when a fighter gets a big win. All of a sudden, the opponent is not the same anymore. Chris Eubank Jr. beat Conor Benn right in that same weight. Right in that same weight, he beat him the last time. Oh, a few months later, he can't do it anymore. So I don't buy that. The better man won. And that's what happens usually in boxing. Jason Williams. Chris looked drained and performed like an old man. I take nothing away from Ben, though. He didn't look drained to me at all. He just looked like he was in there with a better fighter. I didn't see no drain. I didn't see nothing like that. I think people who thought he was going to win want to see something into it. So now it's like, oh, nah, he didn't look the same. But I'm telling you, I saw the same Chris Eubank Jr. that would... Look, let me give you an example. So you can see, and I'm going to tell you why to you he looks drained. And he wasn't. He was the same guy that he was in the last fight. But I'm going to give you an example of something that was different in this fight than what you saw in the last one, and it could make you think he was drained. Watch this. In the last fight, there was something that Conor Benn wasn't doing a lot, and wasn't doing effectively. And it was a little step back that he did a lot in this fight. In the first one, when Eubank Jr. went forward with that double and triple jab, bam, 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 Conor Benn would stand right in front of him, slipping the punches, but not moving his feet. So Eubank Jr. will close the gap and tee off on the shorter guy. Bam, 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 bam. Land 3, 4, 5 punches in his head. Bam, bam, bam. This time around, you didn't see that. Why you didn't see that? Because when Eubank Jr. would go in with a couple of shots and try to let off, Conor Benn would pull back. Quick step back. Pop. Sometimes jab in and pull back. And another thing that you saw Conor Benn doing, this time around he was consistently working behind the jab. Bam, bam, bam. The shorter guy won the jab battle. Take notes if you're a short boxer. Using the first time around, his strategy, he was trying to get on the inside on Eubank and getting tagged brutally. This time around, he was working behind the jab to get on the inside and working the body nasty. Remember the first fight that he would do this? Trying to get on the inside with the hook? He wasn't doing that this time around, was he? This time around, you saw him working his way in. So the point is, my peoples, it's not that Eubank Jr. was dehydrated and he couldn't do anything. It's that he had a different fighter in front of him. He had someone in front of him that was doing things completely different than in the first fight. A whole different approach. He was in there with somebody who was putting that stiff jab out there consistently. That's why this fight played out the way that it did. Tejan, what's the deal, my G? Bam. But we digress. This is happening for real. Jason Williams. Conor definitely did better. That's why I didn't want to take anything away from him. Yo, Conor Benn, this fight was a different fighter. Look, the first time around, he fought Chris Eubank Jr. like he was just in there to out-tough him. I'm going to outgun you. I'm going to be meaner than you, tougher than you, and I'm going to trade with you until you have to back down. That's the type of fight he fought. This time around, that jab, that head movement, that footwork, body punching, all of those elements was just on a different ball game. Wally Ama, how much noise can Conor Benn make at 147? With Norman, Haney, Garcia, etc. I believe Conor can make big noise. Listen. And I said this before. Conor Benn's win over Chris Eubank Jr. is career defining. Why career defining? Because going forward, he's going to get a lot of opportunities and his stock is way up off of this win. What makes a win like this career defining? Simple. He went in as the underdog. Listen, when you have a world champion, somebody fighting at that level, not a world champion, he's not a world champion, but I mean somebody fighting, championship caliber. And you fight as an underdog, that's a career-defining win, if you can pull it off. You see how Terence Crawford was expected to get knocked out by Errol Spence? That's a career-defining win. I know that after he beat him, people came up with the accident and all the other excuses, but it's a career-defining win. All you have to do is go back and look at all the social media posts before the fight and see how many people had Errol knocking him out. Terence Crawford win over Canelo Alvarez. That's another career-defining win. That's another one of those wins that you're going to see in ESPN Classic in 20 years, 30 years. That's one of those fights that people will go back and watch. Career-defining. Why? He was supposed to lose. People were saying that he was going to get knocked out, even made to look easy. So now, Conor Benn, he got himself a career-defining win. He was supposed to get knocked out too. He was supposed to get done worse than the first time around. Jason Williams, do you think Conor should drop back down to 147. I mean, if he could make it, he says that he can. So if he can make it, yeah, he should. 310, man, Ruth. Salute. Bam. RCB. Salute, fam. Fight talk. So, but I digress, my people. Listen, when it comes to Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, I give Jake Paul his credit for taking this fight. I give him his flowers. Bam. You could get knocked out in the first round. I'm going to still give it to you. Because nobody was expecting this. Nobody could tell me, yeah, I was expecting him to fight Anthony Joshua or somebody of that caliber. Because you guys know our main complaint with Jake Paul has been that he don't fight the guys. He don't fight the people that he should fight. AJ? Really? That's such a big fight that there's boxing fans that refuse to believe that it's real. There's people who told me already straight up, it's not real, there's nothing they could do to convince me that it is. That's it. Some people made their mind up. If you're the conspiracy fan who's always coming up with what you think it is, then this is not gonna be a real fight for you. This is not gonna be a real fight for the conspiracy fans until it happens. Javier Adan, Bondragon. I still don't believe it, bro. You see, you're a conspiracy fan, my guy. You don't believe things until you see them. Oh, you're gonna believe it. You're gonna believe it soon enough. I guess you're gonna have to wait till they climb the ring together, but at some point you're gonna believe it. Jason Williams, yeah, from Tank to AJ was a crazy switch up. Listen, it's all about timing and opportunity. Those two things. Why timing and opportunity? You gotta remember that Jake Paul had basically disrespected AJ a while back, saying that he's done, he's cooked, and he could beat him. I guarantee you Anthony Joshua took mental note to that. So now, what happens? The whole situation with Tank, it fell through, got canceled. Jake Paul needs another opponent. AJ wasn't the first option. Remember that he tried to get Ryan Garcia, or they hinted at least. And Ryan's side was like, nah, that can't happen. For obvious reasons. You know, Jake Paul, Netflix, Ryan Garcia, DAZN. Well, interesting. Anthony Joshua, DAZN, gave him a permission to fight on Netflix. So, I guess they could have did it with Ryan too if they wanted to. But this is the fight that Jake Paul got as a replacement, and it's a great replacement because obviously that exhibition, it was an exhibition with Tank. They said they were gonna have judges and everything, but ultimately it was an exhibition. So a lot of people wasn't with it. It's like a lot of people saw it like a circus show. This time around, he's fighting a heavyweight champion, well, a former champion, a two-time heavyweight champion, former Olympic gold medalist. Come on, my peoples. Come on. If you've been asking him, I know I've been asking him to fight a boxer, fight somebody, he exceeded our expectations of what type of boxer we think he should fight. RCB Fight Talk. My favorite of the 4 heavyweight kings of this era, still Deontay Wilder. I mean, but Deontay Wilder is done, bro. Your favorite fighter is a guy that's not fighting anymore? Like, come on. Of this era, the guy that is on top of that is Usyk. Usyk is the best. Well, you know, your favorite could be Wilder, of course. But Usyk, he's the guy. He's the guy. CL, This is the fight that Jake Paul needed. If he wins, he's solidified. If he loses, oh well. No, no. CL. If he wins, he's solidified. If he loses, he still get credit for stepping in there versus a heavyweight champion of the world. It's a win-win for him. Watch. Getting knocked out, even me. If he get knocked out even in the first round, I'm going to be out there like, yo, he had the courage to do it. He had the audacity to step in there with a heavyweight champion. So, it's a win-win for him. The other day, somebody told me, oh, watch him get knocked out. He'll finally be done with boxing. What? After getting knocked out by AJ, he's going to be a bigger star than he's ever been, bro. Remember, I told you that. Jason Wheeler, my mind tells me Jake Paul should have zero chance of winning. Because it's boxing and it's heavyweight boxing, there's a chance, but that chance is very close to zero. Very, very close. RCB Fight Talk, precisely. Usyk is the best of the heavyweight era. Deontay Wilder is my personal favorite. There you have it. It could be the style, it could be the power, it could be a lot of things. Wally Amat, if Jake Paul loses by decision, it's a win for Paul. I mean, if he could go the whole 8 rounds with AJ, that's gonna be the talking point. Like, yo, I went the distance with a world champion. That's gonna be the main talking point. Now, can he go the distance? Maybe it's an 8-rounder. Maybe. Here's what I think. I think if AJ's gonna go in there trying to knock him out, I promise you. AJ's looking to knock him out brutally, viciously. If Jake Paul goes into this fight on survival mode, just trying to go the distance, he might make it. He might actually go the distance. But if he goes in there trying to beat Anthony Joshua, trying to actually trade with him, he's going to sleep in brutal fashion. I can tell you that right now. Tarzan Rose, I don't know. AJ is a nice guy. Oh, AJ is a nice guy, but not inside the ring. Inside the ring, he want to take your head off. Now, I feel you. AJ, he's a very nice guy. But inside the ring, nah, bro. And this is the approach that I expect from AJ. I'm telling you, my people. AJ's looking at this like, yo, this YouTuber feel like he could beat me? He disrespecting me right now. He turning the whole... He gonna do me in? Nah, I'm gonna have to show him what real boxing is. You see the way that he did Ngannou? Did he have mercy on Ngannou? Like, nah, this guy's new in the game. Let me... Nah. Pulverize this whole shit. So he's going in there with that mindset. And there's going to be a lot of people tuning in to Netflix wanting to see Jake Paul get knocked out. Like, is it finally going to happen? RCB, yup. Win or lose, Jake's stock goes up. Even if they don't fight, he benefits from trying to fight AJ. They're going to fight, RCB. Take it for... If you don't know me, if you're new to the channel, I'm Jay Stradamus, my guy. I'm telling you, they're going to fight. Forget about the conspiracies or the possibilities. They signed, they're going to fight. Tejan, you make your prediction on Norman versus Haney yet? Yes, sir. I made it. And my prediction is Devin Haney's going to win this fight. There you have it. I'm going to be honest, Tejan. That has been the toughest prediction I've made, since I started boxing for breakfast. I've never made a prediction that was so difficult to make. Now, how did I come up with that decision? because obviously I'm assessing everything, both of them. I know that Brian Norman Jr. is a special fighter. I know what he brings to the table. So I'm expecting for him to make it a very interesting fight. Those are my expectations. I wouldn't be surprised if Devin Haney's going to go through some adversity. Don't be surprised. But when I take into consideration who has the most experience, who's been on the big stage more, who's, faced the tougher opponents, I got to rock with Devin Haney. Got to rock with Devin Haney. And I know that Brian Norman Jr. is a special fighter. I know that he has the tools and resources to pull it off. And he can be the first guy to dish out an L to Dev. I understand that. But ultimately, I said, nah. I'm going with Devin Haney to outbox him. Tay John, you tripping, Jay Smith. Dev gonna get flattened. They told me the same thing about Crawford. And you see what he did to Canelo. Tay John, I'm Jay Stradamus, yo. You gonna go against me just so you could be wrong? If you go against me, you're gonna be wrong. That's all I'm telling you. Wally Ahmad, no, Jay, change it. Change the pick. Norman Jr. is going to cook Devin Haney. I'd like to change it, bro, but that's not the way it's going down, my guy. I got to give it to you the way that it is. So, check this out, Wally. Check this out. When they first announced the fight, I said Brian Norman Jr. was going to knock him out by or before the 9th round. That's what I had. I like, nah, yo, Brian Norman Jr., the assassin, is going to do some nasty damage. So, anybody who's saying that Brian Norman Jr. is going to win this fight, my peoples, I understand you. I understand you. Tarzan Rose, Norman is great. RCB, subscribe, homie. I like your sensibility, bro. Appreciate it, fam. Check it. Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney, that's a fight that is super tough to predict because they're both elite level fighters. They're both in their prime. They're both in their 20s, by the way. Neither one of them is 30 years old. When you have that type of matchup, it's tough. You have people saying that Brian Norman Jr. is going to knock him out, but you also have people saying Devin Haney is going to make it look easy. So there's people seeing it both ways. And I bet you guys come fight night, the betting odds are going to be mad close. Mad close. Come fight night, I don't even know who's going to be favorite. But it's going to be close. Gonna be close. So I gotta rock with Devin Haney because I'm looking at the experience. I'm looking at the opponents faced. I'm also looking at the styles. That's why I say it's gonna be a tough fight, and they're gonna go back and forth. This might even turn into one of those fights that it'll go down to the championship rounds. Whoever wins 2 out of the last 3 rounds might be the winner of this fight. Tejan, like I said, that was scared in the last fight against a no-name. I mean, I don't know how you say Jose Ramirez is a no-name. You're talking about a world champion. So saying no-name is more of an opinion. It's a world champion. It's a world champion, and look what you're saying. He was scared. You can't really tell somebody's state of mind, my guy. I didn't think he was scared. You see, you thought he was scared? I didn't think so. I thought he executed the game plan to perfection, took minimal damage, walked out of there with an easy W versus a former world champion. That's what I saw. Tarzan Rose, Devin still got up after getting clocked by Ryan. Now, that's one thing. Devin already showed us that he's a warrior. Because he took some nasty, nasty punishment from Ryan Garcia. And kept getting up and kept fighting. Wally Ahmad, don't get me wrong. Devin is the better boxer, but Norman Jr. is a dog. And I don't think Haney recovered from the Ryan Garcia fight. You see, Wally, that's the thing. I feel like the Ryan Garcia fight It's the reason why he fought Jose Ramirez like that. To make sure that he doesn't take punishment, make sure he doesn't take damage. So the notion that he was scared, I don't see that at all. If you were scared of Jose Ramirez, you're gonna make the assassin your next opponent? Hell no. Hell no, you're not gonna fight this guy. Devin Haney stepping in the ring with arguably the hardest puncher in the welterweight division, arguably the best in the welterweight division. And that's who he picked for his first opponent in his debut at that weight class. That tells you the level of confidence that him and his team have, him and his pops. They confident that they could win this fight. Look what Devin Haney said. And I believe that he thinks that way. Who has he really beat? Who really is Brian Norman Jr.? And I'm not knocking him for that. Because you beat who they put in front of you. And he's beaten some good opponents. Just he hasn't beaten famous opponents. But he's beaten opponents that were highly ranked. And he pulverized them. So, no disrespect. You're never going to see me disrespecting or discrediting or diminishing Brian Norman Jr. He's the guy in the welterweight division. And Devin Haney chose to move up there and try to take it from him. We shall see. Wally Ahmad, I wouldn't say Devin was scared. I would say he was extra. He was extra cautious. I agree. He was extra cautious. But Wally Ahmad, the reason I don't have a problem with that is because we all saw the punishment that he took from Ryan Garcia. He got pummeled. He walked out of that fight, face looking like a Ninja Turtle. Swole up. So, I think it's reasonable to go into that next fight, and if you have the skills, if you have the ability to stay away from punishment, do that. It's not going to be exciting. You're not going to gain a bunch of new fans from it, but you're going to walk out of there with a W. You're going to take minimal damage and move on to your next fight, and look what the next fight is. Doing it big. Doing it big. And you have to respect Devin Haney because, look, after what happened with Ryan Garcia, his stock dropped. You know, nobody's talking about Devin Haney being the next face of the future of the sport. That conversation stopped right away when he lost to Ryan Garcia. They overturned it, and it's a no contest now. But the conversation stopped because people saw him take the type of punishment from Ryan Garcia that nobody expected. Getting dropped multiple times. So even with the positive test and the allegations and all that stuff, his stock still went down. So what he do now? Take on Brian Norman Jr. because they know this win puts him right back in the conversation. He goes right back to being one of the best in the game, right back to going into the pound list. Come on now. Sensei 3K, who you got, Norman or Devin? I got Devin Haney winning by unanimous decision. Possibly by split decision. It is going to be a very tough fight. It is going to be competitive. Possibly by split decision. RCB was very surprised and proud of Ryan for that Devin whooping. Prior to that, I thought Ryan was almost all left hook and quickness. Didn't know he had that dog in him. The only thing is that he got criticized for the positive test. He won the fight. And then you have to also, I guess we have to look at both sides of the coin. He performed, but according to the results, he may have cheated. Wally Ahmad, will you say the winner of this fight fights Conor Benn next? I would love a Norman Jr. versus Conor Benn match. Listen, Brian Norman Jr. versus Conor Benn would be absolutely explosive. We would see fireworks, the heavy artillery from round number 1. If that fight was to happen, I would love to see it. Let's see what direction Conor Benn decides to go into in the welterweight division. He says that's where he's going to. Tejan, do you at least see Dev getting dropped? It can happen. It can happen. I have a hard time telling you that I see it happening because I can't judge everything that's going to happen with Devin Haney or for the Ryan Garcia fight. It could also go 12 rounds and him not even get touched up hard like that. Tay, what time is it over there? 7:35 in the morning, family. Agent 17, 7:33 in DR. Nah, 7:34. 7:34. But come on now. This fight, we know that Brian Norman Jr. has the power to drop Devin to knock him out. He has the power to knock him out. And I understand that. He has the skills to knock him out. This is going to be the classic boxer-puncher matchup. There you have it. You're going to have Devin Haney trying to outbox him. You're going to have Brian Norman Jr. applying that pressure and trying to make the fight, a fast-paced fight where they trading leather. Sensei 3K. I got my bet on Norman by stoppage. I actually had Brian Norman Jr. winning by stoppage in the 9th round or before when they first announced the fight. But I changed it, man. Consider some things. I think, and this is not the end all be all, but it's a factor that I take into consideration. Devin Haney has faced better opponents. He's been on a bigger stage. So experience-wise, Devin Haney's going to have the edge. Skills-wise, I believe that they're both up there. Power-wise, obviously, Norman Jr. has the edge. But then with the footwork and the movement, I say Devin Haney has the edge. That's why I say it's the classic boxer versus puncher. We're going to get that matchup. Tay John, Norman makes a statement. Period. We're going to find out on Saturday, right? We're going to find out on Saturday. All I'm saying, Tay John, I hope you're going to be here on Sunday morning. Sunday morning's episode of Boxing for Breakfast. I hope you're going to be here. Tarzan Rose. Also, Devin got the skills to avoid getting knocked out. No, and this is something that I pointed out yesterday that I've been saying. Remember that. I'll point out when Linares really hurt Devin Haney. End of the 10th round, hurt him bad. Had him stumble into his corner. After that, he was never able to land another big shot. Devin Haney was 1 or 2 punches away from going to sleep. But Linares couldn't land it. He has the skill set that if he needs to kill 30 seconds, 45 seconds on the clock without taking a single big shot, he's going to do that. He could do that. So if he's ahead on the cards and they made it into the championship rounds where Devin Haney has a comfortable lead on the cards, that's it. Brian Norman Jr. is cooked. He's not going to, that shot that he's going to need, that now he's going to be trying to land one big shot to end him, he's not going to land it. It's not happening. For Brian Norman Jr. to beat Devin Haney, to knock him out late, the cards have to be closed. There has to be a real competitive fight to where Devin has to stand in there and fight in those championship rounds because he can't afford to lose them. Then Brian Norman Jr. will have a shot. But it's going to be a tough situation. It's going to be a very tough situation for you to be in. Age of 17. No hate, but will you consider Devin a weaker power punch when it comes to power compared to the opponents he's faced? I mean, I don't compare it, versus the opponents he faced. I just look at power and that's it. Devin is not a power puncher. He's not somebody who's historically been a knockout artist or anything like that, regardless of who he faces. Raw power. Yeah, Devin doesn't have that type of power. Look, at the welterweight division, he's gonna look strong. I've seen, some of the training videos, and he looked like he's in real good shape. That's what I see. But even though I see that, he's never been a hard puncher. So I don't expect him to suddenly move up to welterweight division and now show up and knock Brian Norman Jr. out. I don't expect that. Could it happen? It's possible. Anything can happen in boxing. But I expect Devin Haney to more rely on his boxing skills, scoring points, and being able to win on the cards. Al Cuerpo Boxing. Norman Jr. bringing that Frazier heat. No problem. Norman Jr. for the win. 7-5. Okay, that's reasonable. And it's like I said, my people. I see, Brian Norman Jr., I don't know if he's going to be the favorite in the betting odds, but I see a lot of people who have him either knocking out Devin Haney or winning on the cards. And I respect that, my peoples, because Norman Jr. is a special fighter. He is a special fighter. So it's very hard to go against him, trust me. It's been 2 months. I've been telling people for 2 months, I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to make a prediction. I got you. And I had not been able to make it for 2 months. Just going back and forth, trying to figure some things out. It's a tough fight to predict. I will say, though, something in my favor against yours. This is the boxer against the puncher. We all know that. And historically, when you put the elite level boxer against the elite level puncher, historically, the boxers have won most of the time. Not always. I'd be lying. It'd be cap if I say that. But most of the time, when the elite boxers beat the elite punchers. That's a fact. Daniel Negron. Then Haney move up and weight to fight Norman. Yeah, he's moving up in weight. He's making his debut at the welterweight division. Tarzan ropes. If Norman Jr. can win those early rounds, it could be interesting. That is a fact. You see? That's what I'm saying. If he wins early rounds and is close by the time they get to the championship rounds, he could end up knocking out Devin Haney. If the fight can be close when they get to the championship rounds, Devin Haney will be in trouble. Because now he's going to have to try to fight to win those rounds, and he could get knocked out. But if he's ahead on the cards, like a comfortable lead by the time they get, let's say, to the 11th, that's it. Norman Jr. is going to be cooked. Because he's going to be trying to land that big punch to get him out of there. He's not going to be able to. My peoples, welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. This is my breakfast right here, yo. 2 boiled eggs. That's it. That's my breakfast. Enjoy yours. You're probably having something better than me anyways. Sensei 3K. I got the Assassin by KO. Then Benn can get it next. Ooh, ATL stand up. Salute, my brother. Listen, like I said, man, I don't knock anybody who got Brian Norman Jr. winning this fight because he's a special fighter, and it can happen. When you got somebody like that, it can happen, and it could happen in brutal fashion. The Hydro Grind, salute, my brother. Bam. Tarzan roast, hard-boiled egg, healthy as always. Trying, bro. That's protein right there. People don't realize. 2 boiled eggs have more proteins than that damn protein shake you drank. That got all type of chemicals in it. You put in that shit. Daniel Negron, enjoy. Thank you, my brother. I'm gonna still be hungry after I eat this shit. But that'll hold me down for a couple of hours. if you're predicting that Brian Norman Jr. is gonna beat Devin Haney, then you understand that you're going against Jay Stradamus, right? You're gonna get the results. Sunday morning, be here. Sunday morning, Wally Ahmad, Tarzan Robes, Sensei 3K. Don't duck the smoke Sunday morning. That's all I'm saying to you guys. Wally Ahmad, that Yard versus David Benavidez fight should be explosive. I'm expecting it. I think that Yard could make it interesting, but the first few rounds. Then eventually David Benavidez is going to start, doing Mexican monster things. The Hydro Grind. Wally, I agree. I see Yard super ready. I mean, Yard is a guy who can fight, who got a lot of power, who can change the outcome of the fight with one punch. So he's going to have a puncher's chance. But he's not going to outbox Benavidez. I pretty much can guarantee you that. You're not going to see him outbox Benavidez. You're not going to see him, well, you might see him hurt Benavidez. You guys know Benavidez been dropped before. It could happen in this fight. He could drop Benavidez. He could hurt him. He could put him through some adversity. Ultimately, I got Benavidez being the Mexican monster and doing what he does. Ricardo, you think there's gonna be any upsets? Devin Haney beating Brian Norman Jr. I think is gonna be an upset because most people got Brian Norman Jr. knocking him out. Oh, there's an upset right there. Devin Haney's gonna beat him. Agent 17. I saw a couple exclusive videos of David training with a family member of his. I'm friends with his, looking better than ever. Listen, David Benavidez, you see that he always goes to the ring, tip-top shape. He's not the guy that's cut up and all that stuff. But then when you see him in the ring, the punch output, the hand speed, he can do it for as many rounds as they ended. David Benavidez is always in extremely great shape. Five Nights at Everything. Jake Paul ain't got a chance with Joshua. More his size, less skills than Tank, but still better than fake Paul. Listen, I expect Jake Paul to go to sleep. I expect him to go to sleep, bro. The Hydro Grind. Do you know Benavidez has Dominican blood? His grandpa is 100% Dominican. I didn't know that. Javier Adam. Brian ain't beating Haney. And I hope he does. Listen, man. It's going to be a very competitive fight. This is one of those, man, I've been looking forward to this one. And we're finally going to get this action. It's going to be a good fight. Tay, who you think have the hardest fight on the card? That's a great question. That's a great question. It's tough to answer that question because if you think about it, Devin Haney's moving up in weight and making his debut at the welterweight division versus the best. Brian Norman Jr., the assassin. So I think it's easy to say that Devin Haney has the toughest opponent. Sam Noakes, who will be facing Abdullah Mason, I hear the kid is special. I watched some videos of him. I haven't seen like full fights. Watch some highlight reels. He can fight. I can see the power. I can see the speed. I expect Abdullah Mason to win, But based on what I've been hearing about Sam Noakes, it looks like he might give him a tough fight. Or he might turn into Abdullah Mason's toughest fight. Or might be the first guy to, well, not the first guy. Abdullah faced adversity when Homeboy dropped him a couple of times. But in that case, he got dropped by a lower level guy. Got hit with stuff that he wasn't supposed to. You know, he had a lapse in mental judgment. And I think you learn. That's how you grow, right? But if you was to get dropped and hurt by a guy like Sam Noakes, then it could be a way more problematic. Wally Ahmad, Jay, you probably forgot more about boxing than I know. That's why I'm disappointed that you don't see what's going down. After I thank the Lord Sunday, I'm searching for you, Jay. Wally, I look forward to Sunday. I really do look forward to see you on Sunday. After you done thanking the Lord and you come to boxing for breakfast, please address Jay Stradamus. Hey, on Sunday, you shall address me as Jay Stradamus, please. Ricardo, if you truly believe that Dev is going to destroy Norman, you're not a real boxing fan. Norman is built different. Ricardo, I'm not sure why you used the word destroy. When did I say that? I said that Devin is not a power puncher, that he actually has to take him the distance. I also said that it's going to be a very competitive fight because Brian Norman Jr. is a special fighter and he has the skills to beat Devin Haney. This is the toughest prediction I ever made. How the hell did you come up that I said Devin is going to destroy Norman? I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? Ricardo, I'll be back when Norman wins. Okay, if he loses, I hope you'll be back. A lot of people say that, and then when they're wrong, they don't show up. And please make sure that you address me as Jay Stradamus on Sunday. Don't call me Jay. Don't call me Jay Smith. Call me Jay Stradamus when you come through on Sunday. Superman in the building. Bam. And I got to say, my peoples, this is a tough prediction to make because we have two elite level fighters. Neither one of them is even 30 years old yet. Both in their prime. Of course, it's going to be a tough prediction to make. You don't see how some people feel sure Norman Jr. is going to knock him out, and then some people feel sure Devin Haney is going to outbox him and make him look easy. That shows you right there how tough of a prediction this is. Wally Ahmad, only Devin Haney wins, Jay. I will only then address you as Jay Stradamus. It's on the way. It's on the way. And he's going to win. Like I told you, he's going to win. It's going to be a competitive fight. They're both going to win rounds. But ultimately, when they get to those championship rounds, the veteran is going to pull it off. And let me say this. Let me point something out. Because you guys know we're in this new social media age where a fighter take a loss and right away people rain on him. He's a hype job. He's done. He blah, blah, blah. Even with Devin Haney winning this fight, Brian Norman Jr. is going to become a champion again. He's going to accomplish more. He's going to make a lot of money. And he's going to go on to have a great boxing career. So it's going to be the little bullshit that happens when a guy first loses for a couple of months. Especially the people who don't know shit about boxing. But for the most part, people understand what type of fighter he is. When two great fighters fight each other, somebody's going to lose. But I refer you to Canelo Alvarez. Look what happened with his career after he lost to Floyd Mayweather. He became a bigger star than ever. Superman, there's nothing he can do but run. Well, he didn't run against Lomachenko. He didn't run against Regis Prograis. We shall see. We shall see. Tajon Dev gonna fold like a beach chair. Tay, David Benavidez look real skinny. I mean, he's a big dude. Superman, they've written him off his entire career, and all he's doing is getting better. The Hydra grind. Superman, all he can do is run, but he does it impeccably. Superman, both smaller, older fighters. Damn, you already got Regis Prograis washed up? That's crazy. Older? What are you talking about? Daniel Negron, Devin got better after the King Ryan beatdown. I mean, I'm not going to say, for now, I don't want to say he got better or worse. I think he's the same. Superman. No, you got to get my comment prior. Both smaller. They've written him off his entire career. He's going to get better. There's nothing. Superman, the foolery already started, bro. Even trying to keep Norman out of the gym. Damn. What is that all about? Tay, Regis definitely washed up. Did you see that JoJo fight? Ricardo, I got yards shocking the world. Whoa, that's a tough pick. You going up against the Mexican monster, that's a tough pick. Benavidez ain't fought nobody on yard level. He ain't fought nobody on yard level. Ricardo, can you tell me who Yard beat for the level that you put him on? Who Yard beat? Can you answer that, Ricardo, within the next 10 seconds? Who Yard beat? Because if you take more than 10 seconds, I know you have to Google it. And if you have to Google it, then you don't even know who he beat. That's crazy work. Yeah, Ricardo Googling that shit quick, too. Forget it, Ricardo. Don't tell me who Yard beat. I already know you Googling it. Just don't even answer the question. You don't even know a single name of a Yard opponent. Come on now. You don't know a single opponent that Yard beat. And you're bringing up a sparring session. Stop. Wally. Yeah, Jay, we as boxing fans, and I'm not saying you, but we have to stop acting like because a guy loses a fight that he's washed. Fighters back in the day was allowed to lose and come back and win. That's the problem, I think, with social media. That social media magnifies everything. So we'll watch a guy lose, and even though he can come back and win again and start doing good, we'll discredit him right away up until he does something. If he does something, then we're back in the bandwagon. And boxing fans do that all the time. When guys lose, they prefer to discredit the guy than to give flowers to the winner. Look at Conor Benn. The guy moves up 2 divisions. And people will prefer to talk about Chris Eubank not being the same, that they prefer to give this guy his flowers for moving up 2 divisions and doing what he did. It's just the nature of it. The Hydro grind. Maybe Ricardo's a slow typer. Nah, Ricardo was typing real fast. Then he started Googling names trying to figure something out to say. Ricardo, you ever been in there with elite fighters like Kovalev and better yet? Why you Googling stuff, man? Stop Googling stuff. Superman. It's true that we're in the foolery, even in the era of foolery, even when a fighter loses one fight. Ricardo, who has Benavidez fought? Ricardo, but you're not saying who Yard fought. You only say who he been in there. Been in there? What do you mean been in there? What do you mean been in there? What exactly do you mean when you say he's been in there with? You need to clarify that. Yard been in there with all these people that you say he been in there? Because you know, if you're fighting somebody and you get beat, what do you mean he been in there with? You gotta be specific. He got his ass whooped. Superman. Okay, so Ricardo, I see that your go-to is to try to diminish opponents. Have at it. But when they fight and Benavidez knock them out, I hope on Sunday you show up. And when you show up on Sunday, Ricardo, you say like, yeah, man, I had Yard. I said that Yard has been in there with these guys and Benavidez ain't done nothing. But yeah, Benavidez knocked them out anyways. My whole logic didn't mean shit. Be here on Sunday. That's all I'm saying. Superman socials could be good or bad. A lot of people prefer to use it to clown folks. That's facts. That's fact. People prefer to hate on somebody than to give credit to the other guy. Tarzan Road, what the hell happened to Eubank Jr.? I tell you what happened to Eubank Jr. Conor Benn. Conor Benn showed up with a different game plan and put all type of hands on him. But people prefer to diminish the loser than to give credit to the winner. That's just the reality. Adam 92, I think Nick Gurr is the next cruiserweight prospect. We shall see. I'm not familiar with him. I can't really tell you that he is or he isn't going to be. Only time will tell us. Tay, Ricardo, Morel, Kyron Davis. Some names, a couple of names I can't read. It's more people I'll forget about. Musa, I get what Ricardo means. Like, Yard resume is better. No, and look, when you say Yard resume is better, that's up to opinion. It's always going to be about opinion. I find Benavidez' resume better. Why? Because he's been a world champion already. Yard, what has Yard done? Losing to a world champion, you know, you guys are giving participation trophies out here. He don't have better wins than David Benavidez in his resume. But it's okay to have that opinion. It's okay to have that opinion. But to say that Benavidez ain't beat nobody or that he ain't done nothing, that's crazy. Like, nobody, Ronald Ellis also, nobody becomes a world champion by beating nobody. Tarzan Rose, I can be in there and get knocked the F out by Beterbiev. That doesn't mean I'm ish. That's my point. Oh, he's been in there with Beterbiev. What do you mean he's been in there with Beterbiev? Be specific. Got his ass whooped by Beterbiev. Ricardo, Benavidez ain't fought nobody. Like, how many times can you repeat that, though? That's going to be your life. He ain't fought nobody. He ain't fought nobody. That's that casual fan logic. Like, that means anything. It sounds good inside your head, but once you say it out, it's not as good as you think, Ricardo. The whole, he ain't beat nobody. Superman, Ben look good in there. Pause. Listen, man, Conor Benn had the head movement, had the footwork, had the jab going, just had everything. Had everything going. The hydro grind, did you see Eubank speculating about Ben maybe not being clean during the fight? I did not see that, but you know I'm not in the business of speculation and conspiracies. I know you like those, the hydro grind. You always floated those around, but I'm not into that. To me, that's no issue. Tay, Jay Smith, do you believe in the Moses Itama hype? 100%. 110%. And I like the way that they move in Moses Italma. I saw Frank Warren say that they could have already pursued a title shot or something like that, but they chose not to. You know, to bring him up slow, to go really through that development process. So I think that he can be someone that becomes a world champion and has a very long reign. He's only, what, 21 years old, I think? 20 or 21. He can have a long reign in the heavyweight division. He has that type of talent. So, yes, I am in the Moses Itama bandwagon. KD, Ben beats Barrios. I think so, too. I got Conor Ben beating Barrios. But, of course, we're assuming that he's going to be back at 147 and be his good old self. We have to see if it take a toll on him. In fact, in my opinion, if Conor Benn's next fight is going to be at the welterweight division, it should be a tune-up. He shouldn't go right away. What if he goes after Barrios and by round number 6, his legs are completely cooked from losing all that weight to that fight? And he starts off good, but then get beat up at the end. People are going to say he's a hype job, he's a bum, he's a nobody, blah, blah, blah. So I say if I was Conor Benn, he is going to go back down to 147, do a tune-up first. And then go for the big boys. The Hydro Grind. Well, Sensei 3K, a lot of people sleeping on Sam Noakes. So I'm not sleeping on him. And the reason I say that is because I've been hearing a lot of people who do follow him say that the kid is special. I've seen coaches say that he's special, that he can fight, that he's really good. I've seen some footage of him. So I could see that, what he brings to the table. And I even said that he might be Abdullah Mason's toughest opponent. You never really know until the fight happens. But he could turn out to give Abdullah, you know, a real fight. So I'm definitely not sleeping on him. The Hydro Grind, he's saying that Ben was way stronger, faster, and tougher than the first fight. And he finds that suspicious. I mean, of course he's going to find this suspicious. He got his ass whooped. Clinton Eddie, I know Ben look on, but do you think Eubank looked a tad sluggish? Now, honestly, I didn't think so. I felt that Chris Eubank Jr. was simply affected by the different things that Conor Benn was doing that he didn't do in the first fight. And I think that caught him off guard. For example, that jab. This time around, Conor Benn was stepping in with that jab and kept catching him with it. That's super disruptive. Remember in the first fight, Conor Benn was getting tagged in the head, trying to go on the inside. Boop, 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 boop. That didn't happen this time around. He worked consistently behind that stiff jab. That's one of those things that didn't allow Eubank Jr. to operate. Another thing, the quick step back that he was doing. First fight, Eubank would step in with that double jab, bang, bang, and then tee off on him. Bang, 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 bang. 3, 4, 5 punches to the head. You didn't see that in this fight. So you might think, oh, he was sluggish. But it's not that. Conor Benn was just not there to be hit like he was in the first fight. Now, in the first fight, when Eubank Jr. was stepping in with that double, triple jab, you saw Conor Benn moving his head, but stay his foot on the ground. Stay in the same spot, pop, 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 and getting hit. Now, moving his head and backing away, and sidestepping, lateral movement. He just wasn't there to be hit like he was the first time around. So, was it really that Eubank Jr. was sluggish? Or he just had an opponent in front of him that he just couldn't work with? That's what I saw from Conor Benn. KD, good fight for sure. I reckon it could take a toll on Ben for sure. That's what I'm saying. If I'm in that team, I'm like, yo, let's not go back down to 147 and shoot for the big guns right away. Let's see how the body's going to react. let's take an easier fight. So that if we struggling in the 6th, 7th, 8th round, we struggling, we can still pull it off of skills alone. But if you get to that point with one of the elites, you're going to lose. You're going to lose that fight. The Hydro Grind, Benn versus Garcia, is what I would like. I would love to see Conor Benn versus Ryan Garcia. Love that fight. You remember that they went back and forth. They had their little back and forth. Ryan Garcia, I'll put hands on you, Conor, like, what's up? So, you know, there's that little espinita, as we say in Spanish. Hay una espinita ahí. They don't like each other. And, of course, they both got power. That's an explosive fight. Conor Benn versus Ryan Garcia. By the way, I saw a post where they're saying Ryan Garcia is open to making that fight. That's a big one. That's a big fight in the UK. Bang, bang, boogie, J. Smith, chat. Salute, my brother. Bam. Clifton Eddy. Will Conor Benn beat Thurman? Ooh. See, that's tough. That's a tough fight right there. Honestly, I'm not sure if Conor Benn can beat Keith Thurman, man. That's a tough fight. It's a good fight. It's a very good fight. Even a competitive one. But Keith, man, you know he get all the disrespect because he hasn't been active, hasn't been a champion in a long time. Get all the disrespect. It goes in the direction of Keith Thurman, but I don't know if Conor Benn can beat him. Would love that fight, though. Every Keith Thurman fight is an entertaining fight to watch. People got to give Keith Thurman his flowers more often. Sensei 3K, I feel like he should fight at a catch weight and gradually move to 150. See, I like that idea. Yesterday, I said he should fight like at 150. Fight at 150, that tune-up, and then fight at 147. KD needs a tune-up, I agree. 100%, I'm with it. Noakes got power. He got serious power. I seen him stop somebody to the body with a brutal left hook. Bang, flush. So you're going to have Sam Noakes and Abdullah Mason, two young fighters. Both of them got power. Both of them pursuing their first title. And I'm going to tell you like this. Based on what I've seen and heard from Sam Noakes, he's going to be one of those fighters who loses to Abdullah Mason and he'll still go on to become a world champion. He'll still go on to accomplish. And he might see Abdullah Mason again down the line. Tay, Mason by KO under 7. Whoa, you got pure domination by Abdullah Mason. Bam Bam Boogie J. Smith. What's the prediction? Norman versus Haney. Man, everybody been asking me that. You probably know that I've been saying for 2 months that I was going to make a prediction. It's finally here, bro. Devin Haney's going to win the fight by unanimous decision. KD. Yeah, Benn took him off his game. Listen, bro. Conor Benn was just a different fighter this time around. He was a special fighter. Vic, Bowman got exposed as a mediocre trainer. I don't know what you're talking about, man. That's crazy. Superman, 2 things can be true. Wally, I believe Abdullah Mason will need to use his jab and his athletic ability, his lateral movement in this fight. And he should learn from getting dropped and have more defensive integrity. Oh, listen. You got to remember, Abdullah Mason didn't get dropped in the last fight. He got dropped in the one before that one. And in the very last fight, you saw how defensively responsible he was. You saw how he hurt his opponent and was still patient. So we're already seeing Abdullah Mason, benefiting from being dropped by that opponent. Tajon, Vic, you tripping, bro. Bomac, it's a great trainer. Not Tajon. What happened is that Vic, he don't like Terrence Crawford. And he predicted that Canelo was going to knock Terrence Crawford out and make it look easy. So you know that there's a lot of people who they hated Crawford, but when he beat Errol, they really hated him. Like Vic really hated Crawford. So now that Crawford beat Canelo after Vic done set for 3 months, that Canelo's gonna knock him out, make it look easy. Now Vic hate Crawford, Bomac, and anybody associated with them. They own rent-free real estate space in Vic's body, in Vic's brain. Clinton Eddie, I rate Thurman highly. Keith Thurman is a world caliber fighter, world championship caliber fighter. Some people disrespected him, but not me. He's gonna fight Sebastian Fundora in January. I think that fight was pushed to January. And I told people, like, he has a chance to win that fight. People thinking that he's just gonna get washed, that he's just gonna get knocked out. There ain't gonna be no washing going on. You never seen Keith Thurman get washed. And you're not gonna see Keith Thurman get washed. I'm not saying that he can't get beat. He could even get knocked out just like anybody can. But it's gonna be an interesting fight for as long as it lasts. And Keith Thurman definitely got a chance of beating Sebastian Fundora. Believe it. Vic, Superman, I saw you in here talking bad about Roy Jones as a trainer. Well, you have to understand, Vic, Roy Jones as a trainer hasn't accomplished a whole lot. Roy Jones as a trainer, he hasn't brought a fighter, brought him up and turned him into a world champion and all of that stuff. So comparing Roy Jones as a trainer to Bomac is crazy. That's crazy, Vic. Like, what are you doing? Herman Jones, Haney is going to shock a lot of people. That's what I feel like is going to happen because it seems like mostly everybody got Brian Norman Jr. knocking him out. Tay, Abdullah dropped 3 fights ago. Oh, there you go. It was 3 fights ago. And he looks a lot better since he got dropped. And I mean defensively. Because he's, offensively he's been, every fight you see the progression. But defensively he's more responsible. He's getting hit less. Wally, Vic should hate his IQ or lack thereof. Shy Guy, Thurman has the best eye to beat that long reach freak. That speed. Keith Thurman has that speed and the movement and the angles to give Sebastian Fundora problems. Now, I think the guy that gives the most problems to Sebastian Fundora is Jerron Boots Ennis. Tay, is Alberto Puello Dominican or Puerto Rican? Nah, he's Dominican. 100% Dominican. Clifton Eddie, Benn will want all the big names at 147. But what fight do you think will be his next? The Eubank versus Benn rivalry was a homegrown highlight, but will Benn actually get a big American fight? He will definitely get a big American fight. His stock has just absolutely exploded after his win on Saturday. So he's going to have a lot of options. Ryan Garcia may be one of those. And that's a big, big fight. Whether they do that in the UK or they do it in the US, but that's a huge fight. They should do that in Vegas. Do it in Allegiant Stadium. I think that he's going to have lots of options. And now for his next fight, I believe he should take a tune-up. Honestly, I believe he should take a tune-up. If he's going to fight at the welterweight division, take a tune-up, make it at a catchweight, 150, and then the following fight, go for the big guns. Because, it's going to take a toll on his body, dropping all that weight. Vic, take Bud Crawford away. Oh, you want to take Bud Crawford away? No, don't take Bud Crawford away. Sorry. Daniel Negron, he's Dominican. Just Do Boxing. What's good? What's the deal, my brother? Salute. Bam. Just Do Boxing. Did you make your prediction on this fight? On Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney? I waited like 2 months. It took me like 2 months, but I made it. Devin Haney. I got Devin Haney winning this fight by unanimous decision. Wally, Conor Benn should definitely take a tune-up fight at 147. Tune-up Harrison is a good opponent. Harrison is a good opponent. I agree. Clifton Eddie, when you say tune-up, do you mean a taxi driver or just someone outside the top 10, 15? No, not a taxi driver. Of course not. But I mean somebody that is not one of the top dogs in the division. Braid, salute, my brother. Bam. Shy Guy, I think Shakur should fight Benn since they want to fight each other. I like that fight. I like that fight, but I don't think it happens anytime soon. I think it can happen at some point. I don't think it happens anytime soon because, as you know, right now, Shakur Stevenson has a dance partner in Teofimo Lopez, and they'll be meeting up on January 31st. So, with Shakur Stevenson making his debut at the 140 division and Conor Benn moving down from 160 to 147, I don't see them being in the same division anytime soon. But also, if Shakur wins at 140, wins titles from Teofimo Lopez, I don't see him moving up to the welterweight division to face Conor Benn when he got these titles. And I'm sure that he's going to try to go for that undisputed crown at 140. Because Shakur is chasing greatness just like Terence Crawford. So even though I'm sure he would fight Conor Benn, I don't think he's going to choose Conor Benn over accomplishing in the 140 division. Superman. Vic, really? We talking the great Roy Jones as a trainer versus Bo Mac. They don't compare as fighter Jones way above, as trainer Bo way better. Of course, because what has Roy Jones Jr. done as a trainer? He's brought in some famous fighters so that he could work with them. But as of right now, Roy Jones is still not known as a guy who's been able to take talent all the way to the top. Breed, Norman needs to move his head better. Who you got winning this fight, Breed? You got Brian Norman Jr. or Devin Haney? Shy Guy, I hope that Lopez versus Shakur goes through. It's about time Shakur gets his shine. Oh, no, that's a done deal already. That's a done deal, my brother. We're going to get Lopez and Shakur. That's it. That's officially been posted, signed, sealed, and delivered. So we're going to get that fight. And I love that fight because you know that there's always been the haters that are going to have a narrative that he ain't fight nobody. He ain't fight nobody. He ain't fight nobody. And that's been the narrative on Shakur. Well, I did a poll. I'm going to look for that video. I'm going to repost it. I did a poll asking people who they prefer to be Teofimo Lopez's next opponent. And Shakur was one of the options that I put out there. I said, listen, do you prefer Shakur to be his opponent? And my peoples, in that poll, the overwhelming majority of the people said, nah, I prefer Teofimo to fight Subriel Matias or fight somebody else. They didn't want him to fight Shakur. So I want you to understand this. The same people who say Shakur never beat nobody, they will also tell you that they don't want those names to fight Shakur. So they'll tell you he didn't beat nobody, but they don't want him to fight nobody. They don't want him to have those names in his resume. That's real hate right there. That's that real sneak hate. Not wanting him to fight people so that you could say, look, he ain't beat nobody. So you know what's going to happen when he beat Teofimo Lopez? They're going to say, well, that's only one name. That's only one name that he beat, though. That's just the way it goes. Wes Dustin, good morning, my brother. Salute. Bam. Breed. Haney, but Norman hungry to get his shot. So that's always something to watch out for, of course. Brian Norman Jr. has something to prove. People discredit him. People saying that he didn't beat nobody, that he ain't done nothing. This is his moment right here. Wes Dustin, Shakur getting that Crawford treatment already. Yeah, for sure. And I said it before that Shakur is walking the same path as Terrence Crawford was at the welterweight division, where people just didn't want to fight him. They just didn't want to fight him. The difference is, though, that Shakur is going to get his big shot at a younger age than Crawford. Crawford got arrows at what, 34 years old, I think he was already? 34 years old. That was when he finally got his big fight. That's why I tell you, they're going to make a movie about Terrence Crawford. People don't really grasp how big his career has actually been. Like, when everybody refused to fight him, he just has to keep winning and winning and winning and winning until he got the shot. Got the call, we're going to fight Arrow. Boom, destroyed him. Then kept winning again. Now gets the call. We're going to fight Canelo. Boom. Did him in. And look, Terrence Crawford is now the face of boxing. So Shakur Stevenson is walking that same path. But if he get that fight with Shakur, January 31st, he's going to have that first huge win at 28, 29 years old. I'm telling you. It's easy to see what's happening. Then when we get there, I just sit here and tell people, I told you so, man. I saw this coming years ago. Now you want to see it? Bree, Shakur just that IQ, that ring IQ, the boxing skills, everything that Shakur bring to the table. Ain't nobody for him. There's a reason why Tank Davis ain't fight him. There's a reason why Devin Haney ain't fight him. There's a reason why a lot of people ain't fight him. They could have, they don't want to. Vic, I'm giving Shakur full credit. He beat Tio. Shakur will be a 4-division champ, and this will make him a 2 linear champ, all by 28 years old. Not too shabby. Gotta give it to him. Gotta give it to him. He just keeps winning and winning and accomplishing. Until eventually he's gonna get that fight where people are gonna have to say, God damn, he got it. Fuck it, he got it. Wally, will we ever get that fight, Shakur versus Tank? Damn, Wally. That fight, honestly, I gave up on it because if Tank don't want to fight Shakur, he's not gonna fight him. So once I saw Shakur say he giving up on it, that's it. I'm giving up on it. There's always gonna be that little bit of hope, like, damn, I wish, but I don't know if that fight will ever happen. That's it. Because you know that Tank Davis was gonna do the rematch with Jake Paul, and there's been rumors that were floating around about how he was gonna retire. Matter of fact, I'm gonna talk to Lori about that. I'm gonna talk to Lori and I'm gonna ask her, what she think about the possibility, or if she knows everything about the possibility of his retirement. So I'm gonna call you up, Lori. So I just don't know. I just don't know if Tank Davis is gonna stay in boxing or not. Let's see. Juan Ocasio, good morning, Box Center. Salute, Juan. Bam! Superman. Wes Dustin, where do you think Roach lands after he pieces up Pitbull? Well, there's a possibility that Roach beats Pitbull and gets a fight with Shakur afterwards. Because remember, Roach is moving up to 140, and Shakur may become a world champion in that division. Him and Shakur had already went back and forth about fighting each other if Roach would have beat Tank. So that's a possibility right there. And Lamar Roach, he already showed us that he's about that smoke. Look, couldn't get the rematch with Tank, went straight after Pitbull Cruz. And for those who are saying that Pitbull Cruz is going to beat Lamar Roach, Pitbull Cruz is getting cooked. Cooked. You're going to be disappointed. You're going to be disappointed. If you think that Pitbull Cruz is going to beat Lamar Roach, your feelings are going to be hurt. Because Lamar Roach is going to put together a beautiful display of sweet science on Pitbull. Vic, will Roach box Pitbull from the outside or fight him on the inside? He's going to do both. He's not going to fight him exactly like he fought Tank Davis, just walking him down. He's going to do both. He's going to do movement, and you're going to see him on the inside. But he is going to win most of those exchanges on the inside. And it's going to be, you know, the ebb and flow of going back and forth. So you are going to see him using that footwork, maybe even a little bit more than you saw him using it on Tank Davis. But you're also going to see him bullying Pitbull at times. Bullying him. He's trying to make a statement. He's trying to show, you know what? They didn't give me the W against Tank. I'm going to beat this guy up worse than Tank Davis beat him. Vic, Roach looked hella strong versus Tank. And he's going to be fighting at 140. He's going to be fighting Pitbull at 140. Going to be stronger. Gonna be stronger. I expect him to put the beats on Pitbull. That's just the reality. That's what I expect. The Hydro Grind, I think Pitbull will prove Roach was just a one-hit wonder. But you only feel that way as a Tank Davis fan. That's why. As a Tank Davis fan, you cannot acknowledge Lamar Roach. But how is an undefeated champion, because he's an undefeated, well, not undefeated, one loss, but how is a world champion from the 130 division a one-hit wonder? He was already a world champion in the previous division. So would that make him a two-hit wonder if they would have gave him the W on Tank Davis? Breed, it's just great seeing them finally all fighting each other. Finally, man. Tank Davis, the only one that needs to join the party. Join the party, Tank Davis. The Hydro Grind. No, bro. I feel that way because I've seen Roach fights before Tank. Now, that's cap. That's cap. You see it that way because you don't like Lamar Roach after what he did to Tank Davis. You don't like him. He did that to your hero. West does it. One-hit wonder with 30 fights and world champion. I don't know. We got to find a way to make that make sense. We got to figure that out. But let's see what happens with Tank. You know, let's see if he's actually going to retire, if he's going to come back, if he's going to stay. Because at the end of the day, we all know Tank Davis is obviously one of the biggest stars in boxing, one of the most talented fighters in the world. And his fights are always good. You're always going to enjoy Tank Davis fights. So, of course, we want to see him back in the ring. Let's see. Let him take care of whatever situations he got going on, and hopefully he'll be back. Breed, Tank has to come back and prove himself. Look, the thing about him coming back and proving himself is that what is he really going to prove? Because he got a lot of money, right? So he don't have to prove that he made money. He don't have to prove that he's been successful on the business aspect. Now, do he want to prove that he's the best? That's different. Now he would have to come back. You know, if he want to prove that he's the best, or that he's a pound-for-pound fighter, or that then he has to come back for that. But it's all up to what he wants. He has the money to not come back and live off of his investments. The Hydro Grind. Tank got to retire and stay retired. Damn. How you a Tank supporter and you retire him like that? The Hydro Grind. Take care of his personal issues and forget about boxing. Breed. MS will talk way too much trash. It's not about money. I mean, you have to understand. Think about what they've been saying this whole time about Tank, that he is about the money. Tank got celebrated for the Jake Paul fight because he was going to get the bag. So if you look at Tank Davis fan base, the whole thing about the Tank has always been the money. That he makes more money, that he does more pay-per-views, that he put butts in seats, that he only cares about the money. Well, if that's true, he doesn't have to come back if he doesn't want to. Wes Dustin, where do you rank Kid Austin among the lightweights? He's a wild card. Seems like maybe him and Rolly could mix it up. I like Kid Austin. I say I put him one level below the top dogs. Just one level below. He's right there, but just below them. You know, he's right below Abdullah Mason. He's not, you know, I see him losing that fight. But when I tell you that a fighter is right below the elite, what that means is that those fighters, when they face an elite, if they having their best night and the elite is not having his best night, they're going to beat him. They're going to beat you. You got to be on your game to beat those type of fighters. If you're not, you take a L easily. Karen Terrell, salute, Jay. Salute, my G. Bam. Juan Ocasio, Rolly, no lightweight. The Hydro Grind, Scofield versus Rolly. What? Hey, he want to see it. Elsewhere, Fight Week. We got some good fights, man. We got some good fights. It's a good card. And, of course, this is the one that everybody's talking about simply because, a lot of people saying Brian Norman Jr. is going to knock him out. Then there's the people that saying Devin Haney is going to make it look easy. We don't know what's going to happen. Well, I know Devin Haney is going to win by unanimous decision. I told you guys. Superman, Vic, yes, I do. I've been growing in the boxing world one day at a time with the Clark Kent tape, as you call it. Superman, bam, bam, bam. Listen, Bam is one of my favorite young fighters, too. I think he should be a lot bigger star than what he is, man, because he's so special. Bam is a special fighter. I hope that one day we have the opportunity to see Bam Rodriguez versus Naoya Inoue. I hope we get that opportunity. Boxing Junkie, salute, my brother. Bam. Elsewhere, yeah, it's all smoke and mirrors. Devin Haney, easy dub. Ooh. I don't know how easy it's going to be, but I got Devin Haney winning the fight. Took me almost 3 months to make the prediction. Breathe. Them big businessmen know Roach versus Tank is a big, big money fight. So they will give Tank an offer. And Shakur is even bigger. So it all depends on what Tank Davis wants to do. If he's gonna try to pursue a title in the 140 division, or he's gonna fight some of these names. But if it's all about the money, like people say it is, then I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he's gonna do. What's wrong with these dogs? So my peoples, it took me a long time to make that prediction because it is a very, very competitive fight. Nobody's watching anybody, my people. Forget about the idea that Devin Haney is going to get knocked out easily and Brian Norman Jr. is going to get done up easily. Ain't going to be nothing easy about this fight, my people. It's going to be a competitive fight. Devin Haney is going to walk out of there with the unanimous decision. Maybe a split decision. Elsewhere, Devin select his opponents carefully if you pay attention. But I got to tell you what, elsewhere, Brian Norman Jr. is someone that we did not expect. We did not expect this opponent. In fact, that's why so many people are predicting him to get knocked out. Somebody who's coming off of brutal knockout wins in the last few fights. And Devin Haney's making his debut in the welterweight division versus arguably the hardest puncher on there. So I don't know how carefully they selected this opponent, my brother. I think they was just looking for the biggest gun out there. Boxing junkie. 2, I got Haney within the fight too. But I want my young bull Norman to get the office. One thing about me, I like humble fighters. Norman's a humble fighter. I'm going to tell you what, man. I like Brian Norman Jr., Brian Norman Sr. I've spoken to him a couple of times. He's been on the show. So I got a lot of respect for the Normans. I like the way they move, the way they operate, the way they handle themselves. Everything about them. They just, you know, the type of people that you look like, yeah, this A1 type of people right here. It's classic folk. So much respect to them. And even though I say Devin Haney is going to win this fight, I still expect Brian Norman Jr. to continue to accomplish because he's a special fighter. So he's going to be world champion again. He's going to win titles in more than one division. He's going to do a lot of things. So I have those type of expectations for him. KB, Devin down in 8. Them less going to get weak. We shall see. And I got to say, to everybody that's saying Devin Haney's going to get knocked out, I need you guys to be here on Sunday. Sunday morning's episode of Boxing for Breakfast is going to be a cooking show. It's going to be a cooking show on Sunday morning. So y'all need to be here. And by the way, my peoples, damn, I forgot to put the link up. Subscribe to Box Center 2.0, my peoples. Exclusive content on there. Not just the exclusive content. We got a new show that's going to be there. It's going to be a hotline. You'll be able to call whether you want to trash talk, give a fighter their flowers, make a prediction. You're going to be able to do that. You're going to have a whole minute to do whatever you want. And I had to create a whole different channel because I don't know if YouTube is going to block me. We're going to be cursing each other out. We're going to be going at it. It's going to get fiery. Subscribe to Box Center 2.0. Only waiting to get to 50 subscribers to start the new show. Let me share the link with you guys. Box Center 2.0, my peoples. Come on now. I'm going to share the link. We're at, I think, 42 or 43 subscribers right now. We only need 8 more, my peoples. 8 more subscribers. And we're going to be kicking off the new show. So I'm going to share the link with you guys. Get you in there. Look at it right there, my people. Look. That's Box Center 2.0 right there. Box Center 2.0. A whole new show will only be available on that channel. I'm only waiting to get to 50 subscribers because you cannot go live until you have 50 subscribers. So my peoples, go ahead, subscribe to Box Center 2.0 for this exclusive content. 8 more subscribers. That's all we need. Box Center 2.0. Bam. Look at it right there in the comment section. I'm going to go ahead and pin it. There you have it. Box Center 2.0, my people. Subscribe. I promise you. We got something special coming up in that channel. Tay John, what do you think about all these fights taking place in Saudi Arabia and not the U.S.? So, you know, boxing is a business, and at the end of the day, it's about the money. So if they're going to be the ones that'll pay the most money, they're going to get a lot of these fights. Honestly, I don't have a problem with it. Because I know as a fighter, you have to try to maximize your potential. You have to try to get the most money you can get. Remember, fighters, they don't have insurance. They don't have a 401k plan when they retire from boxing. If you retire from boxing and you broke, you're done. So if you could get as much as you can, if you can get generational wealth so that one day you could retire comfortably, I'm with it. Get your money. Elsewhere, dude could buy boxing if he wanted. That oil money is no joke. They got that money to give it out. Juan Ocasio, can't wait for Saturday. Man, listen. On Saturday, we're going to get some real good fights. And Sometimes, like for example, last Saturday, I only called one fight. I called Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. That's it. The other fights, I just watched. Next week, I'm going to be live for almost the whole card. I'm going to be calling all them shits. I know we're going to get some serious action. The letter M. Which one of these fighters are on the juice? I don't know. I don't think anybody. I'd like to say nobody. Elsewhere, how much is the PPV? I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure. Boxing Junkie. Man, my bad for my spelling. I'm driving. I'm doing voice note. No biggie, my G. Juan Ocasio, great card. The only thing I don't like is that those Saudi fights be earlier in the day. So, to be honest, sometimes I prefer those early in the day cards. Like, yo, if they start the card at 4 in the afternoon, for example, and the main event is already at 8 o'clock at night, I love it. I love it. Because sometimes you get to the main event, bro, and it's almost 1 in the morning, and you like this. You got to now get yourself prepped up for the main event and shit. Breed. They got the money in the States. It's just you have a lot of shady Don Kings. KB. Bill told Devin, if Brian hit hard, run, Forrest, run. Don't let the Haney family down. Elsewhere, I like it because later on Saturday, I can do whatever I please in the evening. Yeah, I like it too. Yo, if we could get a main event at 8 o'clock at night, and the main event is over by 9 o'clock, shit, you want to go out to a restaurant, you want to go eat somewhere, you want to go for a ride, you can do it. But if you're watching the main event from home at 1 in the morning, what's next? You're going to take your ass to sleep. That's what's left. So if you're my age and older, I'm 47, if you're around my age, we love a main event at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. Ooh, that's my dream come true. I be loving those. The letter M, I love that early joint. I'm trying to tell you, bro, them early fights. Vic, I don't pay $60 for Eubank Benn rematch. The undercard wasn't worth it. I'm saving my money for this weekend. Listen, the Benn versus Eubank Jr. undercard was fire if you're from the UK. If you're from out there, and there was a lot of fighters that you recognize. But if you're from this side of the world, you don't recognize most of those guys. So like, whatever. Superman, you missed my message. My brother, throw it in there. There's too many of y'all, man. I'm missing a lot. Wes Dustin, the cards are better than 1 a.m. fights where we're all sleepy, watching in bed. Corey B, those Vegas fights be too late at night. But that's what I'm saying, bro. Sometimes the main event be at 1 in the morning. It's like, what the fuck? I watch fights that when the fight finished and the post-fight presser, it was already 2 in the morning. Like, goddamn. Juan Ocasio, that's true. I'll be dozing off. But in the day, I'll be running around on Saturdays. Bro, I can't remember which fight it was that I was watching. Oh, yeah. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And who was it that he fought? Was it Jake Paul? And Jake Paul. Yo, I fell asleep for that one. Like in the 6th round around there. I was calling it. I fell asleep. And yo, I went to sleep. I didn't even finish the fight. I went to sleep. I was like, nah, man. Fuck this shit. Boxing Junkie. I hate the early bout. That is the only thing I hate about they fighting out the state. I mean, the early morning one, even the early morning ones in Japan, I enjoy them. The ones that I remember watching, like at 7 in the morning. Woo! At 7 in the morning, wake up to a championship fight. Beautiful. The letter M, I can watch more boxing, other cards. Hell yeah, you can watch a card in the daytime, which we done that here. Call a fight in the daytime and then call another card at night. Wes doesn't wake up and find out on YouTube. Jaron Harku Molina. Last fight I saw was like 1:45 a.m. and I was not even pumped to watch it anymore. Yeah, man, sometimes you feel so tired that by the time you get to the fight, you're trying to fight battle sleep. You don't know who's going to get slapped first, somebody in the ring or you. Breed. Shit, I'm in Germany, so I always look at them late. Damn, man, you used to it already. Jay Smith, true. Superman. But he ain't picked this fight. Turkey did. But I rest my case. They're still on scared tactics. Well, let's see. Let's see, my peoples. KB, love your work, family. I'm a professional boxing coach out of Atlanta. I love both fighters because they don't no smoke. KB, salute, my brother, and much respect to you. I have a special love and respect for fighters, coaches, trainers, everybody involved in the sweet science because, I fought before as an amateur, got one fight in as a professional, been around a lot of fighters, and I know what it takes. People don't see what it really takes to get to that level. They see these guys who've been world champions, and as soon as they lose, oh, yeah, he's done. He's not all that. He's a hype job. So I got a lot of respect for everybody involved in the profession. So salute to you, my brother. And look, for me, this was a very hard prediction to make because I know the type of fighter that Brian Norman Jr. is. I know what he brings to the table. I know the type of power that he has. I just feel like the experience that Devin Haney has, that's going to make the difference. That's going to edge him over when it's all said and done. Superman missed a lot and cooking up too. Damn, I'm going to have to... Hold on. That's how you doing it? That's how you doing it these days, Superman? Shit, man. It's a lot of comments. It's hard to find. Boxing Junkie. It's free with a DAZN 49 a month contract. West does it. Hey, KB. I'm in the A as well. Salute. Breed. Now you all know how it feels being in Europe. I love them being in Saudi or England. Man, listen. Like I told y'all, man, when you start getting older, you prefer to get them early fights. Them early fights, or you might not survive till 1 in the morning awake. West does it. I may have to change my prediction, Jay Smith. Because Norman is from my city. I got to represent now. Norman, majority decision. All right, you see, you repping your city. That's all good. I respect that. Vic, the best is sometimes when you fall asleep and wake up to the main event. Oh, my God, Vic. Oh, my God. I had that happen multiple times. That's a beautiful thing. Matter of fact, yo, I've passed out, fell asleep, missed the whole card, and woke up when they're announcing the two fighters in the ring for the main event. Oh, shit, let's get it. That's a beautiful thing, man. That's like a gift from God. When you pass out, you get to rest, and you wake up right for the action. Whew, it don't get no better. Nah, man, you struck a nerve when you said that right there, because I had that sensation before. Only when you go through it, you know what that feels like. If you haven't had that, you don't know what it is to really be alive. Side, I did that for UFC. That's what I'm saying. Side, God's timing. Willa, don't get no better than that. My peoples, you imagine that you've been tired, you've been running around all day, doing different things, and when the boxing is going to start, you so tired, you pass out. And then all of a sudden, you wake up, and you hear, get ready for the main event, ladies and gentlemen. You're like, oh, shit, oh, shit. Bro, listen. The sensation that you get, the urge that you get in your body when you realize that you woke up from the main event is undescribable. It's undescribable. I'm not sure. Let me see. Being with a new shorty, getting a new piece of you know what, or waking up to the main event. I don't know which one is more exciting, bro. I don't know. When you wake up to that main event. It's crazy. Juan Ocasio, damn, we all now, Smith. I'll be doing the same thing. Corey B, cook some pancakes and eggs Sunday. Woo! Yo, Corey B, listen. On Sunday morning, it's gonna be a cooking show up in here. Everybody's saying that Devin Haney is gonna get knocked out. It's gonna be a cooking show. So I hope everybody that's saying Dev is getting knocked out show up on Sunday morning. And we're gonna have to discuss. We're gonna have to address your prediction and assessments. And let's see. Let's see how that's gonna play out. Daniel Negron, I wish I knew more about Norman to make an assessment on him. I would say look up some of his fights. You still got time. It's still a whole week to go. Look up some of his fights. Tay John, I can't wait to be here on Sunday. Listen, a lot of people tell me I can't wait to be here and then don't be here. So just be here. And don't be a ghost watcher either. Don't show up on Sunday nice and quiet. I need to see you in the comments. Vic, a lot of hurt fans this weekend. My brother, but you see how many feelings is hurt when people was expecting Chris Eubank Jr. to knock Conor Benn out? And the same people that told me he was going to knock him out are now telling me that he washed. He went from he's going to knock this guy out to he's washed. Just like that. Crazy. Vic, Devin and Norman fans will be so heated they might miss Benavidez' yards. We're going to be arguing back and forth on social media and not even realize that Benavidez and yard is happening. So I remember a lot of Canelo fans disappeared off this channel. Disappeared? A lot of Canelo fans unsubscribed from the channel, bro. I thought that was crazy. Like, damn, you're going to unsubscribe because I predicted that Crawford was going to beat him and he did? That was crazy. Daniel Negron, facts, I was shocked. My peoples, it's 8:56 in the morning. I'm about to end this episode of Boxing for Breakfast. But before I do, I want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in this morning. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And I want to say, listen, subscribe to Box Center 2.0, my peoples. Only 8 more subscribers. Green Ranger, salute, my brother. Only 8 more subscribers. And we're going to be able to start the new show. Trust me, it is going to be something special. Prophecy, damn, I just joined. I missed it. Oh, damn, bro. So to everybody who just joined, remember, what happened is I'm not doing the show earlier. What happened is that in Dominican Republic, there is no daylight savings. So your time changed, but my time did not. I'm doing it at the same time, but since your change, it seems like I'm doing it earlier. So that's why. To you, it feels like I'm doing it earlier. To me, I'm doing it at the same time. I'm not able to change it because I have to go to work. I have a job too, my peoples. But I want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in. I want to remind you guys, please subscribe to Box Center 2.0. Okay? A new show is coming up. There's going to be a hotline. You guys will be able to call in. We're going to be arguing, debating, cursing each other out. It's going to happen sometimes. But the show is going to be crazy, my peoples. The comment right there is pinned with the link to Box Center 2.0. Subscribe. Shout out to everybody who tuned in this morning. Prophecy, KB, Tay John, Green Ranger, Daniel Negron, Vic, Sai, Corey B was in the building, Juan Ocasio, Wes Dussett, Willa, Boxing Junkie was in the building, Just Do Boxing was in the building, and everybody else who tuned in, my people. Elsewhere, Breed. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys make Boxing for Breakfast what it is. If it wasn't for you guys, this show would not be fire. That's why when people go in here that don't know shit about boxing, I block them. I block them quick. I don't need people who don't know shit about boxing. This is a family of people who know the sport, who follow the sport, who understand what the hell is going on. And that's why we have such great conversations every single morning. My peoples. One love to everybody, man. Real talk. Don't forget to hit the like button. Damn, 24 likes in over 2 hours. 24 likes in over 2 hours. Come on, my peoples. God damn, what I gotta do, man. But one love to everybody. Whether you hit the like button or not, you guys still tuned in, so I appreciate you. Make sure you tune in to tomorrow's episode of Boxing for Breakfast, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time. By the way, tonight, if there's any updates, any breaking news in boxing, I will be live again tonight. I may be live again tonight, not sure. But I'll definitely see you tomorrow, my peoples. Enjoy your day, and you already know what it is, man. I'm Jay Smith. I'm signing off. Bam.